Peace and prosperity. Welcome back to my channel. We're about to do another Get Ready With Me. Y'all seem to have liked the first Get Ready With Me that I did. It was long, but I was not in the mood to edit. I wasn't in the mood to be perfect. I'm not in the mood to be any of those things this summer, and I don't even know, maybe the rest of my life. We'll see. But I am a perfectionist to some degree. I have a Virgo moon as my placement in my birth chart, and I have a Taurus rising, so I can be very like, no, it needs to be like this with myself in pretty much everything in my life. But yeah, I just wasn't about to edit no hour and almost a half long video. So for those of you who actually watched the whole video, I love y'all. Y'all are so special, and y'all are nosy. Y'all are so interested in what I have to say that y'all are gonna watch that whole hour and 30-minute video, because you know that I be talking about some real stuff. I drop gems, like regardless if I'm being casual or not. But basically, yeah, today we're going to be doing a Get Ready With Me. I'm about to head to the burger place down the street. Me and my daughter were playing the burger game on Roblox, and that was like one of the first games we ever played on Roblox. And we played that game, and while we were playing it, my daughter was like, I want a burger. Like, can I have a burger? I always get fries when I go to the burger place. Can I have a burger? Because when I go and I get my daughter food from like fast food places, I typically just get her fries. But the burger place down the street is local, like locally owned. It's not organic, but it's better than it being a large chain restaurant. That I would just say 100% no to. But it's local, and their meats are somewhat natural, like naturally sourced meats. And it's local, right? And when things are local, it's just better because the community is putting their love into the food. So that matters to me. Anyway, I feel like I'm gonna need some water as I get into this little chit chat, and I'm gonna be basically doing my hair while I talk with y'all. Let's see. I kind of know what I want to talk about today. And something that's been on my mind has been the subject of men dating different races of men, and the preferences that men have that they mask, right? Really, it's not preferences. The prejudices that men have that they mask as preferences. What my experience has been like dating other races of men. I know a lot of y'all got upset with me and unsubscribed, okay, when I started talking about black men and how I feel about the modern state of black men, and how the average black man is a terrorist to black women. I know a lot of y'all didn't want to hear that from me, but I don't care, okay? I don't care. I'm going to talk about it anyways. I'm going to bring it up. It's what I've experienced. It's what a lot of women have experienced. And no, that doesn't have to be the truth about black men in general. We have the power to create whatever it is that we want to create in our reality. However, not by denying what you are currently experiencing and your pain points, and just ignoring what hurts and where your suffering is coming from. That's not how it happens, okay? Okay, so all right, y'all, let's get into it. Let me see if I can. Yep, I can move the microphone successfully. Yep, that's good. I had somebody in my last video complain, okay, and say that they couldn't hear me in my video. Stop lying. You know you can hear me. You know you can hear me talking. Matter of fact, let me just take this off. Okay, let me just take that off, twist it, so that way this little puffy thing isn't blocking my face, and you can get the full spectrum. But come on now, turn your volume up. Turn your volume up. My microphone, this is a almost $300 microphone, and you talking about you can't hear me because I wasn't all the way in the mic. I could watch my video successfully and it was fine. So yeah, y'all, just turn up your volume and leave me alone. Okay, so I am about to basically just braid my hair up. I took a nice good bath today. It was like somewhat of a spiritual bath, and I'm gonna give my daughter one later on, but I need to at some point also give myself a good apple cider vinegar rinse, and get some of the buildup in my hair out of my hair. I'm pretty sure y'all can see that build up, but yeah, so that'll be the next thing I do when I'm in the bathroom. But I'm just gonna go ahead and braid my hair into small little braids and talk to y'all about my experience in dating black men recently, and my experience dating white men. Okay, I wonder which thing I should get into first, but honestly I kind of want to talk about white men and other races of men that I've dated. So I have dated, let's see, I want to say I've dated almost every, or if not dated, like have talked to every race, almost every race of men. Not every race. Okay, there's some that I haven't, I'm sure. But I've been pretty, like, I guess I've never been the type to just be like, I only talk to black men. That's never been my thing. Even like some women feel like uncomfortable talking to white men or men of other races. As a Afro-Indigenous, quote-unquote, black woman, I've never been afraid to date men who don't look like me, or date men who are from a different cultural background than me. I've never felt afraid, and I also have never felt like I wasn't attracted to like white men or a different race of men. I feel like it doesn't matter what cultural background you are or whatever, like you can be attractive to me, because typically what's attractive to me is the energy that you have, and the level of masculinity that you, and the type of like how well a man embodies his masculinity with me usually is the thing that makes them look attractive to me. I mean, that's typically the case with women anyway, you know. A man's energy and how he shows up in his masculinity is honestly what's gonna make him attractive. So I've never been the type to just be like, oh, I just don't like men who look like this. I don't choose my partners based off of how they look. Like I've never been like that. So when I watch these silly shows like Pop the Balloon, I mean, there's some quality Pop the Balloon like examples, but most of the time it's just stupidness. Like people are popping a balloon on people because they look a certain way, their clothes don't look a certain way or whatever like that. Now, it's one thing to just not be attracted to somebody, but to say, oh, no, I don't like your clothes, that's not a good enough reason. That's not a good enough reason to me to just no longer deal with somebody, you know? And that's how you can tell that somebody's like, that's how you can tell that people are projecting their insecurities, right? Like, they're disqualifying people based off of their insecurities whenever they are rejecting people because of stupid stuff. Okay? Like, I dated a guy who shared with me a little bit about his past relationship and how that relationship ended. And he basically said, me and the girl were basically planning, like the girl, the lady wanted to move to a different country or whatever like that. She wanted to move to Canada. They were from another country. They're not even from America. So he was like, okay, let's do it, right? And I think a big part of the reason why he wanted to do it is he also shared with me about another relationship he was in. The one that got away for him was the way that they ended was that she wanted to move somewhere and do something, like basically start a new life and do something different, and he didn't want to do that. He wanted to stay or do whatever he was doing, and that's how that relationship ended. And I think he has a lot of regret about that, because the way he reacted to this other girlfriend, right, the next girlfriend who said, oh, I want to move and go to Canada or whatever like that, he was just 100% on it, like making sure that he's like doing everything right, getting everything squared away, so that when they move to Canada, like, you know, really and truly what I was picking up from the situation was that he wasn't really doing all of that for her. He was doing all of that. Actually, I'll get into it. So basically, long story short, he does everything he can in his power to make sure, like, everything, his life is basically squared away and like ready and prepared to move to Canada, and her too, right? Because she's coming with him. They're going together, or he's going with her. I don't know. And at the last minute, she decides that she doesn't want to go anymore, right? Like, for whatever reason, she's getting cold feet. She doesn't want to go anymore. He gets so upset with her, he breaks up with her. And he says, he told me that she doesn't care about his life, because why would you at the last minute just say that you don't want to go anymore when I basically picked up my whole life and I'm already basically about to move to Canada, and at the last minute you say you don't want to go, right? So I was like, there's actually nothing wrong with her saying she doesn't want to go anymore. Like, it's okay to change your mind about things. Like, so what I picked up from that was that because he felt like it was such a selfish decision for her to no longer want to go to Canada, I'm like, actually, you are actually the one who's being selfish, and you don't even realize it. See, that's the thing. When people are rejecting you or breaking up with you for stupid reasons, it's always because of some deep insecurity on their behalf. Okay? And that reason was stupid because people are allowed to change their minds. He was really upset at the fact that he did everything in his power to make sure that he was benefiting from moving to Canada with her. Okay, he wanted to make sure that his life was gonna be good when he moved to Canada with her. And because she decided that she didn't want to go anymore, it was kind of like, oh, I did all of this. Really, it's, boy, you ain't do nothing but prepare to leave. Like, it's not like, you know what I'm saying. Actually, I don't even know. I don't know the extent to what he actually did, but I just know intuitively, like, you're mad because you're selfish. That's why you're a selfish person. And now you're upset with her because she's probably going through a plethora of emotions that you don't even know, right? Because you're so busy just being upset with her because she doesn't want to go anymore. So I was like, yeah, that was the first red flag that I saw with him. I was like, yeah, because I straight up told him that was actually like not something bad to do. And like, why are you so upset about that? Like, that don't make no damn sense for you to be that upset to break up with her, right? To me, that sounds like somebody who doesn't actually love that person. You just love them for their convenience, or however they were conveniencing you. And the moment they stop conveniencing you, oh, this person doesn't care about me anymore. That's how they see it, right? So, yeah. Whenever people are making up dumb reasons, that's what I have gathered is like, okay, yeah, you just projecting your own insecurities. So, yeah, so okay, I need to put my phone on do not disturb. Oh, when your child leaves their toys around in your house. So yeah, so that was the, if I'm gonna share the race of the person that was actually an African man that I was dating. Okay, and I have to say African because Africans do not consider themselves black. I do not care what nobody say. I don't care. Whenever it comes down to it, like when it comes to the benefits of being black or black culture or whatever, yeah, they'll be black. But when it comes down to it, right, if they were to pick a side, they African. They don't group themselves in with American black people. As far as I have what I have witnessed, that's just not the case. So anyway, so yeah, that guy was an African guy. And African men, so since I've moved to Seattle, I have dated a lot of African men. There are a lot of African men in Seattle, which has been refreshing because African men, they are much more solid in their values and how they see themselves as men and their role as providers. So, that's not something that you really have to argue with an African man about. I have never in my life had to argue with a man about providing. But the thing is, a lot of black men will see themselves as providers, but they are conditional providers. They provide like conditionally so that they can get something out of you, or if you are giving them what they want, which is, sex or whatever else. They are not like providers, like masculine providers. Masculine providers provide because that they are a man, and they believe that it's their duty to provide for the woman that they claim to care for. So that's just what they're gonna do. Um, so that's one thing about African men. I would say when it comes to providing, right? Like some men, they think that they're a provider and they're really not a provider. They like the idea of being a provider or whatever like that, but they don't actually provide, right? A man that provides for you is providing for you. Like, and he's providing for you from day one. You don't have to ask him to provide for you. You don't have to wonder if he's going to always be asking you what you need. He's going to be listening to you, listening to what you're going through, and offering his resources, offering his support. If he is asking you out on dates and courting you or whatever like that, he is giving you whatever you need. He's giving you money. He's paying for things. He's paying for sitters. He's considering he's considerate of you and your life and what you need from him, because he wants to provide for you. A man that is like doesn't really want to provide for you but is playing like he's a provider, he's not really going to consider what you might need. He's not really going to think about your needs outside of you and him together. Okay, men who pay for dates, men who pay for things that have to do with the both of you, like that's not, I always say this, like that's not a qualification of whether or not he's invested in you, because he's paying, basically still paying for himself, like paying for what he wants out of the relationship, which is your time, your energy, and all of that. And you want, I would say this is something that I've definitely declared, like I want a man to always, and I have men always in my life that are providing unconditionally for me, not conditionally, providing for me sincerely, not selfishly. Okay, a sincere provider is providing for you when it has nothing to do with him. Things that have absolutely nothing to do with him. Him helping you with your rent, him paying for your rent, him paying for your groceries, him, taking you to get your nails done, taking you to go shopping, him going to help you with your car. Like, none of those things have anything to do with him. It has everything to do with you. If he can't sincerely do that without expecting something from you, then he's not a provider. And that's something that I had to learn in my heart, right? Like I had to learn through understanding true and real devotion in a relationship. So anyway, that's why I had to make that breakdown, because I was saying that to say like, a lot of African men are providers. Now I have to break that down, because I have met African men who are providers, but they are selfish. They're selfish providers. They're conditional providers, okay? But there are a lot of African men in Seattle, and I would say my experience dating African men has varied, and yeah, it's varied. It's definitely varied when it comes to like what I've experienced. Yeah, it's definitely varied. I've dated since I've been in Washington. I mean, I don't really want to go over my whole life of dating, because honestly, I have dated and I've talked to a lot of different types of men. When I was, since living in New Orleans and also being here now. But I've also dated white men since I've been out here. And I've dated like regular white Caucasian men, I was actually in a relationship with one for a short time. And that was a good experience. But at the same time, it wasn't a bad experience. I walked away from that relationship feeling nourished, right? Like I wasn't taken from, I was poured into 100% in that relationship. But there was moments where I had to advocate for myself basically a lot. Because it's almost like if you don't speak up for yourself, I had to go through this phase of learning, like, if you don't say what you need and say what you want, like, people are just gonna take what they can get, and they're gonna think that you're okay with it. So that was something that I definitely had to learn in that relationship. But I've dated regular white men. I've dated a white man who was Czechoslovakian. I think that's how you say it. I dated an Austrian man for like not that long. So yeah. And the one thing that I would say is, when you're dating men, white men, or any kind of man who is not black, outside of your race, you have to some degree vet how they feel and see black people and black women. You kind of have to do that with all men. With black men it's different, but with men who are not black or the same race as you or come from the same background, I've had to like gauge like how they see or what they feel about black women. And I've definitely experienced a lot of different forms of like prejudice that's masked as preference. Okay, when I have dated non-black men, there was a Honduran man that I dated, and we were actually in a relationship for a year or two. I was a teenager, and he told me one day, actually I don't know how we got on the subject, but I think he said something while we were watching some comedy show or something. And he was like, talking about how he doesn't like dark women. And I was like, you don't like dark women? And I was like, so if I was 2 shades darker, because I'm not far from being dark skinned, okay, when I'm in the sun. If I was a couple shades darker, would you still talk to me? I'm just kind of asking him like straight up. And he was like, no, I wouldn't. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how can you be like, I don't understand that, how you can't see that as being prejudice. I just don't understand the preference thing when it comes to physical looks. Like, if I were to ever tell my husband or my future husband, like, yeah, if you were like 2 shades lighter or 2 shades darker, like, I wouldn't have married you. Like, that sounds crazy to me. Like, it completely takes away from the value of the intrinsic value of that person, and it just makes them into an object. And that was the first time I really felt objectified. Okay, I've been rejected before, like when I was young, like a teenager, and I was like googly eyed for boys. I've been rejected by like Hispanic men, mostly Hispanic men. Yes. Are you almost done? Oleva, if you're hungry, go get the fruit off the counter that I made for you earlier. Checking. Okay. No, I'm not done. I'm almost done. See my hair? I'm almost done.
I already did say if you were almost done.
I'm almost done. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's how I felt. I felt like yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I went through a lot of, because I had, when I was younger, I had a lot of like self hatred, or like didn't like myself because I was in a very racist environment. Like the environment I was in was racist as hell. Okay? Just racist, like extremely racist. It wasn't just the people, the white people. Okay, black people were racist against themselves. That's what people don't, a lot of people don't understand when they say, well, I would say a lot of white people don't understand when you talk about racism. It's like racism wasn't just white people hating black people. Racism was the internalized hatred that was embedded into black culture. Okay? So I didn't really like myself and how I looked growing up. I didn't like my hair. I didn't like my features. I didn't like myself. So I tried really hard to fit into like the Hispanic community, or like the yeah, mostly the Hispanic community, because that was like not white, but it was almost not white but not black. What?
Can we use the rest of the bread to like make some waffles?
No, I'm not cooking nothing else. We're gonna go to get your burgers and fries, and then that's it.
Okay.
You can get a shake too if you want a shake.
Yeah, I want a shake.
Okay. So yeah, I put myself in the Hispanic community, and I can remember like this, like Mexican guys, like, you know, like they look at me they look at me differently than the other girls. One guy just straight up told me that he was like, I don't condone intermixing with black women or whatever like that, because that was a way to like reject me. But I experienced that a lot when I was younger. I also wasn't as, I mean, I don't think that this is true 100%, because, and what I was about to say is, I don't think that I was as attractive, but that's not true. Okay. Because I can remember there was a lot of black guys that liked me, but I was always rejecting them. Because I hated myself. I had that internalized hatred towards myself. Okay, y'all. I'm almost done. See these braids? Almost done. So yeah, there was the Czechoslovakian white guy that I dated also had like a smidge of prejudice in him, which is crazy because I could tell that he had he had a fetish for black women, like his family did. Like his sisters had babies with black men, and I guess he wanted to follow in their footsteps and have black babies or something, because he liked black girls, I could tell. And one day I was asking him, like, I don't know how we got in. I never know how we get on the subject, but we got on the subject of light skin, dark skin. I think we were talking about black music and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, well, I prefer to be with light skin women, lighter skin women. And I was like, what? That was confusing to me, because we were actually on a date. He took me out on a date for my birthday. And I was like, I mean, and he was a handsome he was handsome. I ain't even gonna lie. He was a Taurus white man. Czechoslovakian. I'll just say his nationality. And he was super tall, like, you know, broad shoulders. He was handsome. I ain't gonna hold you. And yeah, and he was telling me his preferences were light-skinned black women, and I was like so confused because I was like, I'm not light-skinned. I've never considered myself to be light-skinned, like red bone. Like light-skinned white women are, I mean, light-skinned black women are basically like black women who basically damn near have white skin or really high yellow skin. I don't have that. Like, I have red skin. Like, I know the camera's making me look like I'm light skinned, but I'm really brown. Like, I'm really, really brown. I'm really brown. I got brown skin. And if I sit in the sun for long enough, in some hot sun for long enough, I'm going to be almost black. I'm going to be almost black. I won't be black, but I will be very, very, very dark brown. So I was like, so confused when he said that because, like, why are we here? I was like, why are we here? Like, why are you on a date with me if that's your type? Like, that don't even make no sense. And then after that, I was like, and that sounds prejudiced. Like, that sounded very prejudiced. Like, I actually don't like his answer. So, yeah, I think that experience, and then I don't think I've had any other. If I've had any other prejudice type experiences with white men, it's been with the Austrian man that I dated very briefly. He seemed like he was prejudiced against women who have children. Like, I don't know. That was very weird, but like, I didn't tell him that I had a daughter initially when we first started connecting, because I was like, I don't think that's necessary for a man to know immediately, and I don't think he's entitled to know whether or not I have a child, if I have a child, until after, like, you've asked me on the third date, fourth date, right? Like, you don't even know if you like me. Like, why do I need to tell you I have a child? So I ended up telling him that I had a daughter, and like, all of a sudden, like, he didn't like completely flip, but like, he was making sly, slick little comments like, oh, so you want marriage, but you have a child, like trying to insinuate because a woman has a child, they can't get married. Like, it was a little bit on some red pill type stuff, and I'm just like, this guy is weird. You know what I'm saying? But that didn't stop him from wanting to okay, because he definitely invited me to come over to his place, and I kindly declined. But it's like, oh, so I'm not good enough to marry, but I'm good enough to smash. Yeah, next. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Okay. And yeah, some of these men, I'm unnecessarily nice to. Okay. And some of these men, I just like, I have patience until I don't have any patience. So a lot of the times I'll go on a date I'll date like a few different men, and I'll be patient and I'll be kind, and I'll just let things slide, and then I just move on from the connection to another connection. And then that one guy who just tries me after those 3 different dates I went on, the one guy who tries me gets all of that anger. Okay, he gets all of that anger and frustration. I don't care if it's right or wrong. Okay, don't come in the comments talk about something that's not right. You can't be taking out emotions that he don't deserve. He deserves it. He deserves it. If he's in the line of fire, he deserves it. And if he doesn't deserve it, then I'll probably feel bad about it afterwards and apologize. That's usually how that goes. But most of the time, yeah, you deserve it. Especially if you triggered that. That's happened before with another African guy that I was talking to. And he was like, what was it? Like, we were talking. It's been a while actually, so I'm trying to think about it. But basically he lived 3 hours away from me. So he would call me every now and then to see how I'm doing. And one day he called me and randomly like asked me if I wanted to go out on a date, basically. And I was like open to it because we had been in connecting for a while. Like about a month or two we had been connecting. So I was open to like, okay, a last minute thing. But it was like, it was last minute, so it was an inconvenience, and I really didn't want to stress about having to go on a date last minute. So he told me, he was like, if you want to go, just let me know. If you don't, it's fine. I'll just take that as a no if I don't hear from you by 5 o'clock or whatever. And so he didn't hear from me by 5 o'clock. Like, I didn't get back to him because it was a no for me. And it was like a month later or something like that. He calls me and he's like, hey, how you doing? I'm just checking on you. And within the conversation, he's like throwing shade, like petty shade, like, oh, you never called me back to tell me you didn't want to go on a date or whatever like that. And I made time to go on a date with you and whatever like that. And I was like, oh, you caught me at the right day, at the right time, because boy, I'm about to go off. Like, I am about to go off on you. And that's how I be. Like, that's how I be. It was like his pessimism and his attitude. He had a lot of attitude. He was Nigerian. Okay, he had a lot of sass. He was calling me honey boo boo on the phone. Okay, honey boo boo, and like all of that. I'm like, if you don't sit your sassy self down somewhere, like, I will outsass you. I will outsass you. I just want you to know that. Anyway, he didn't get nowhere with that with me. And yeah, and so I know y'all are probably thinking like, damn, like, who has time to just be dating all of these different weirdos? All of these different weird men who have all these issues and all of that. And I agree. Who has the time? Who has the time? I don't make time for it. Especially since my most recent experience in dating. Honestly, I just feel like everything that I have been going through in dating or experiencing in dating, it's just getting me closer and closer to the man that I'm meant to marry and the man that's meant for me. And remembering that this is my season to prepare for him. This is my season to relish in the solitude of loving on myself and taking care of myself and standing on what I believe in, and really, I would say, remembering what my truth is and what my values are. Because every single man that I have dated and moved on from in the span of 5 years, I realized that we had different values. Like, we just have we have different values, and we believe in align, or I would say we believe in different things. We think differently, right? I value this. You don't. You might think that you do, but the way that you behave shows me that you don't value these things. You know, and last year I met someone that I thought it was gonna, like, I thought that this was, like, I was like, okay, this is the guy. This is my guy. And I was, like, excited, really excited to see where it was going and to, like, see, like, how it would flower and everything like that. And things did not pan out that way, and it was because I had to learn what it meant to truly love myself and stay vigilant. Stay vigilant and stay committed to myself first. Because one pattern that I noticed that I have a lot, that I have had a lot with men, is feeling like I need to stay longer than necessary. I mean, compared to other women that, like, other stories I be hearing, like, I'm like, girl, that's way too long. 5 years, 7 years, like, for me, it only takes me one time. One time something happens, or one time something is brought to my attention. If we can't communicate on that thing and come to a resolution, if this thing is bothering me and you don't think it's that important, or you don't feel like you have to prioritize it, or you don't have to bring resolution to it because it's not bothering you, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the beginning of the end. It doesn't matter how soon the relationship or how far the relation, like, and usually those things come up within the first 3 months. Within the first 3 months, you'll be able to see the issues that are gonna make or break you in the end. And every relationship is gonna have a thing that either brings them closer or brings them apart. And in those moments, you just have to choose. You both have to choose. It can't just be you. Okay? And it can't just be them. Y'all both have to choose that this thing is going to bring you together. And your energy is going to move in a way to where your differences bring you closer, and they help you to evolve and heal as people, grow as a person, as an individual. And I think in relationships, that has been my thing, is I have been able to see and sense and pick up on the things that men who come into my life need to evolve past. And I would need a man who craves that type of energy, who craves growth, who craves always becoming better, who craves my wisdom more than he craves my pleasure in my body, or my stroking of his ego. And that's a lot of what I teach on this channel. And I'm getting ready to open the doors and launch something as it relates to this, and manifesting money, manifesting love, manifesting clients, and growing and fulfilling your life as a woman with love and with abundance. I'm getting ready to launch something just like complete. that gets down into the nitty-gritty of everything, because that's what I found. I found that, oh, I got coconut oil all over me. I'll just rub it into my body. So yeah, that's what I found, is that that's just what I do when I'm in relationships, is I usher in a person's healing and transformation. And I'll usually attract people when they're going through or about to go through some kind of transformational event, or like transitional event in their life. I think that's has a lot to do with the fact that my descendant in my astrology chart is in Scorpio, which is the 7th house, the house of relationships, of marriage, of union. So having Scorpio there, it just makes me have this transformational or healing effect, psychological healing, like completely like renew and becoming anew, right? Becoming a new person, becoming a new man. That is the energy that I've always brought into my relationships, and I've never been afraid to bring it up or call it out or say, let's talk about this, or not like sweep things under the rug. But if I'm noticing something, I'm like, no, let's talk about it. Let's deal with this, because I don't want to keep dealing with this. Like, I want you to become better and better and better, and tap into your greatest version. And even with my friendships, right? Like, even with my friendships, I'm like this. And I can remember as a teenager, one of my best friends in high school, she was one of my best friends because she always listened to me. Whenever we would get into like situations where our friendship felt like it was on the line, like I would sit down and I would talk to her about exactly how I felt, exactly how I felt she felt. I would listen to her, but then I would also be like, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I want to become of our relationship and our friendship, and da 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 da. And like, I would just be like going, like laying it all out, and she would be listening to me, and she'd be like, you're right. Yeah, we're gonna do this. Yeah, let's do this. Like, and we're still friends to this day. I mean, we don't talk all the time. We don't talk every day. But that's a friendship that I know if I ever went back to that state or that city and I called her, like, she'd be like, oh, yeah, I got her. Like, that's how a relationship should be. And for me, I just know that I would need a man who can appreciate that. And so, yeah, I mean, when it comes to the type of men that I've dated, like, I don't really have a preference. I don't really care. I have felt less I don't know how to describe it. When it comes to men of different races, I think men of all races can just be ugh. But quality men, they come in all different shapes and sizes, honestly. Like, real quality men. Really kind, really authentic, genuine, masculine, healthy masculine men. There is no like specific standard to who they are, what they look like, or whatever like that, unless you decide on what that gets to look like for you. So I am going to just go ahead and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess I'll put my scarf back on. I put my scarf back on and I'm gonna look like somebody's mammy. Okay, going to the burger joint. Let's see, how does this look? But yeah, I mean, I recently did like this draw your soulmate thing advertisement that they have when they're like, oh, let us draw your soulmate. Yeah, I did one of those. And tell me why my soulmate was like, I mean, my soul, they drew a white guy basically, like, but he was a handsome white guy. Like, he wasn't an ugly white guy. I showed it to my mom, and my mom was like, oh, you need to get a redo. And I was like, it don't look that bad. I think he looks kind of good. I think he looks kind of like, he looks good. He looks like he has money. He looks like he's like laid back, free spirit, you know. So I don't know. You never know. But yeah, I was surprised. I was like, oh, so I guess the man that's my soulmate is Caucasian because he's Caucasian. Yeah, the guy in the picture is Caucasian. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this get ready with me, or basically like watch me listen to me talk while I'm doing my hair. But yeah, y'all feel free to let me know like what your experience has been dating different races of men, and you know, I recently met someone in Germany. I really like ask me how I met him. But yeah, I met this guy in Germany and he's really fun to talk to. And that is okay, you put on pants, now put your shoes on. And that is currently why I am learning German, because he's basically learning English while he's talking to me, and I'm like, well, I might as well learn some German, and this could be balanced. You know, I can learn German, you can learn English, you know, and it can be like that. But yeah, let me know what has your experience been like dating and talking to different types of men, different races of men. Okay, go wait by the door. But yeah, okay. Well, thank y'all for watching. I will see y'all in my next video. I'm wondering what I want to talk about next, but yeah, we'll see. Peace.